Okay, so I'm doing this little video, something I've never done before, just because I looked for information, videos, what have you, on the internet trying to find out how to swap a 302 in a Ford Ranger. While I found a lot of information on the Ranger Station and some other Ranger forums, I never really found a video about the actual swap. So it's kind of what I'm going to do is kind of show you my journey getting a 302 V8 into a Ford Ranger. So what I have found so far is go to the rangerstation.com forum, and there's a wealth of information on there. A few things that I have found in addition to that in my own experience is I followed their technical, in the technical section there is a talks about things you need to know about the V8 swap, and it does talk about using the preferred pan of being a truck pan. So I put the truck pan in my swap, and it works, but I had to do some clearancing. I had to basically take a 2-pound hammer and kind of push up a few areas in there in the pan to create a little room for my application, which my application is a 1994 Ranger, which would be the twin I-beam 2-wheel drive. So I had to make a little room where the truck pan hump comes down to clear the right side I-beam, which is on the back side of the cross member. And I also had to push up under the where the oil pump would be located. I had to kind of push that little hump up to make enough room for the engine to sit down. I am using the Advanced Adapters kit, using their motor mounts, adapter plates, and oil pump or oil filter relocation kit. So using those combinations, this is what I'm having to do. I also had to, I want to keep the factory air conditioning, so I had to do a little work on that. The hump on there, I tried using a heat gun that I had, a dual temp heat gun on high, and I was able to work the area in a lot, but not enough, and I just couldn't get it hot enough to make the plastic malleable to form it. So I ended up using a rosebud tip that I have on for my torch, and kind of heat it up, and you got to be very careful doing that because you can get it too hot. But I got it hot enough, and I used a tip I found on the internet using an oil filter for a 302, which is kind of about yay big around, and kind of use that to help push the wall in and kind of form the areas. And even doing all that, I still had to set the engine in, look at the clearance issue or clearances, pull it back out, do some more tweaking. It took I think 6 tries before I was able to set the motor down in. And so I'm going to show you what I have done so far, and you can kind of see where we're at. I just put the clutch in. I want to keep the took an M5 OD R2 HD out of a 2002 F-150, which had a 4.2 6-cylinder. It has the same bolt pattern as the 302. So I used that to get the strongest of the M5OD series. So doing that. So I got the motor set in today. I have the flywheel and clutch bolted in. I didn't get the transmission in today because I kind of an oversight. I discovered I don't have the pressure plate pressure plate bolts. So I had to order those in from O'Reilly's, and they'll be in tomorrow. So that's kind of where I'm at the end of today. I'm going to take the camera off. I apologize for the moving around, shaking around here, but This is necessary so I can pop the camera off, and we can move it over here and you can see what we're doing. So as you can see, kind of holding this up, there's my 302 sitting down in my engine bay. Now I'll move it down. You can see I don't have the headers in yet, but you can kind of see the motor mounts down there. And in the corner you can see we're tight. I don't know if I can really show it how much I've tweaked that in to gain some room there. I originally was going to use these to hold my spark plug wires because I thought they were nice and sexy, but they're definitely going to hit, so I'm going to see if I modify them, if I can make enough room for clearance and still use them. If not, I'll have to go to something a little less sexy on that. So that's kind of where we're at. You can kind of see the room I have at the moment without headers in. And I'll move around. I don't have the water pump on or the radiator in. My intention is to use the factory 1994 radiator. I'm using for the 4.0 heavy duty cooling with automatic and air conditioning. And from everything I've read, that should be enough to cool this motor. We'll find out. I am not going to use the mechanical clutch. I am going to use 2 electric fans instead, just so I make sure I have enough room down in there, and I have to hopefully not have to do a lot of modifying of the core support and all that kind of thing, and still be able to keep the factory air conditioning. We'll see as time progresses. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, that's it. So have a good night.